you know what I love, chat room? Here, I'll tell you. I love my girlfriend. I love my kid. I love her kid. I love our cats. I love my friends. This is not in particular order. This kind of rotates to whoever's going to get the hug right in front of me. I love the kidney. I love you guys. Yeah, a lot. A little too much sometimes, I gotta admit, and I apologize if I get a little emotionally gropey. But, you know, if you're a star, they let you do it. Fortunately or unfortunately, but mostly fortunately, but probably unfortunately. And I also, I love being told what I think. And I also, by people who want you to know what I'm thinking or what we think, that's the best, or what we're planning. And because I don't know about you, but I find the eyes wide shut deep state parties a little boring. Once the sex stops, I'm like, where's the chocolate covered strawberries and my Rolls Royce back to the city amongst the plebes? And but when I'm there, I'm like, they're like, okay, here's the plan. This is what we're gonna do to people against their will and how we're gonna manipulate them to do what we want. And I'll go, you mean like Ray Epps whispering into a magazine? I'll go, shut the fuck up, Sparks. I'm like, I'm a comedian. It's my job. It's why you brought me here. What do you want me in the Illuminati for anyways if I can't make a goddamn joke? They don't even listen. So, the other thing I like is when I forget the plan, somebody like Alex Jones will be there to tell me what the plan is. And since I'm Hollywood, this exclusive report is all about me. Exclusive special report: how movies are used to precondition. They're being like, you mean like that Jim Caviezel movie, that weird lying piece of shit movie. It was supposedly about two Guatemalan kids, but they were actually about two kids from like Temecula, and the daughter was never actually kidnapped, and it was all a story. Anyways, or whatever, the Daily Wire movies. You mean that? Okay. But there you go. This is, you're being preconditioned to accept dystopian slavery. Jesus Christ, this asshole's been drinking Kyle Kalinski's bathwater again.
Please welcome Yuval Noah Harari.
Hi, Yuval. How are you? JonesCrowder.com. Really? Wait, they hyphenated? They got married?
COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize total biometric surveillance.
Yeah, it didn't, that actually didn't work. It didn't legitimize it. The vast majority of the populace didn't go for something like that. We don't have vaccine passports. It didn't make us all okay with biometric saved it. Nobody was like, fuck HIPAA, we need to know. Like, what are you talking about?
We want to stop this epidemic. We need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin.
Did anybody get a fucking vaccine into their Mons Venus and their fucking above their thumb? That looks like a owie.
What we have seen so far, it's corporations and governments collecting data.
What? Using TikTok or apps or...
about where we go, who we meet.
Wait, what was that? Whoa. Where was the guy on the motorcycle going? We all have a right to know. Right, guys? Where's the tracking date on that motherfucker? It should come up on my screen. Look, I submitted to this and I got the chip implant so that as soon as a car drives by, I can see the pulse rate, the blood type, the genealogy, and the direction, and the buying history, and the URL search results that they've done in the last 72 hours, and like a word cloud around them of the most demanding phrases that they bring up in conversation in case I have to talk to this asshole. And nothing, just zips right by, and you're just going to let that happen? You're going to let that happen. Okay.
What movies we watch.
On an old television from That's a 90s remote, I gotta say. Look at where's this television from? And also, is this a whole video? I mean, I appreciate the retro part of it, but
The next phase
is moving to Thailand and riding a tuk-tuk bus?
surveillance going under our skin.
Ooh. Well, now that sounds promising.
We now see
That's not gonna fit. That's not gonna fit. I'm just saying, that's a little, that even for me, that's too big. I don't know how. And seriously, there's not enough Vaseline in the world.
mass surveillance systems established even in democratic
Yeah, it looks like they're tracking clouds with that software. I don't think it's. Why do they give a fuck about this guy? That would track like 6 people.
Next phase is
Say, like-
surveillance going under our skin.
Okay, first of all, it's not Twitter anymore, so you're way behind.
Now seeing
Secondly,
mass surveillance
there's way more people on the planet than that. I mean, what is this? What is this? Just like it's just tracking super gonorrhea, and that's Alex Jones. Is that how you? Okay.
systems established even in democratic countries, which previously rejected them. And we also
Oh, it's terrible. And there's this thing now. I don't know if you guys know this. When you're outside and you're on the street, if people see you there, they're allowed to remember it. How you like that? And they call me paranoid.
also see a change in the nature of surveillance.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this lady's surveillance eyeball is itching because, you know, it's a new one. It's the beta model or whatever, and it sends little shocks to the ocular, cavity, and it can be a little bit irritating at times. And here she is. She's standing on a corner trying to record what everybody's up to, and it just itches, you know what I mean? There's just going to be gaps in it and stuff like that. So hopefully she's got a surveillance buddy. Remember, 2x2.
Previously, surveillance was mainly above the skin. Now it's going under the skin.
That guy did it by choice. Putting an RFID chip for a specific task under your skin doesn't tell any of your biometric data. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite of that. It doesn't give a fuck who you are. As long as the chip approaches the thing, it can be anybody. Anybody can put the same RFID chip under their skin, walk up to the same lock and open it up. What's the difference? Do you think this asshole's car, he's got like an old house key to open his car? Or do you think he goes like that and you're like, okay.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip
By choice. This is so old.
that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Governments want to know not just where we go or
Yeah, but it doesn't serve as his COVID passport because he doesn't need one.
who we meet. Above all, they want to know what is happening under our skin. What's our
I'll tell you what's happening under my skin. Beneath the skin beats the heart of a champion. What the fuck this is like. Also, I think you could have picked a scarier music, don't you? This is it's a little corporate. I'm just not scared by it. You know what I mean? It sounds like, all right, we're getting on with it. Also, this thing, I gotta say, if the Illuminati really wanted to torment us all, they wouldn't have gone to these kind of devices. They just stuck with rectal thermometers. You know what I mean?
body temperature? What's our blood pressure? What is our medical condition?
In a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is
Well, yeah, I can also get my ears pierced really fast. And
complete.
When scanned, all of a person's information about their vaccination status is shown on a reader or phone.
Now
that's for the app. And no, it doesn't. It doesn't say everything you've had and none of your medical history, just your vaccine history if you're going into a place that mattered at the time. None of this is true. Like, this is, again, I love the fact that this is another example of how Alex Jones was fucking wrong about everything, that they always just fucking, like, they freak out, like, it's coming, and then it doesn't come, and they're like, it could have, but thank God I was here. Like, really? You're the one that scared them off?
humans are developing even bigger powers than ever before.
Thanks for noticing.
We are really acquiring divine powers.
No, we're not. Do not put on the MetaQuest 2 and try to walk out a third floor window. It will not work.
Of creation and destruction.
Also, just because this dude is trans cyber and is playing like some sort of sim Earth battle from his shitty apartment in New York. The fuck?
We are really upgrading humans into gods.
Well, I mean, a vaccine definitely makes it so that you survive something that naturally would have killed you a long time ago. What?
Requiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life.
Yeah, you notice how they kind of bail out when they get to the part where you're like, actually, that's not a bad idea, I suppose. I mean, could we guarantee that there are no like birth defects passed on so that every child is born healthy, so no one has to ever have a ectopic pregnancy again because they figure out what's wrong with it, and then you can have gene therapy, and then your child, the baby will make it to term because they figured out the resiliency of a healthy baby versus any of the previous reasons why a child would develop, spina bifida or something like that, and they managed to get rid of it. You're like, that would be terrible.
Humans are now hackable animals.
No. No, we're not. No. There are no drone baby farms, dum-dum.
You will own nothing, and you will be happy.
Well, you know what? I gotta say, the second part of that sentence is the part that really fucks with this. I gotta say, the whole ending it with "you will be happy" just takes really this. It just pulls the evil rug out from under it. You know what I mean? Just isn't as. I would rewrite that. You will own nothing, and you will obey, or at the very least, I don't know. I gotta workshop it. You will own nothing and like it. Is closer. You will own nothing and like it. You would get the spankings. I'm just saying this. Now it's starting to get naughty.
I think that fake news have been with us for thousands of years.
Okay, asshole. Don't put up the stone being pulled aside and Jesus not being there and the sign of the cross and saying fake news at the same time. I'm just saying. Are you calling bullshit on the Gospels in front of Alex Jones?
Just think of the Bible.
Ouch!
The whole idea that humans have, this, they have this soul.
This Messiah who speaks peace on earth or something like that. I don't know. It's all shit to me.
Or spirit, and they have free will, and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will. That's over.
That's over, because they're going to start marketing directly to you. There's the thing, though. There are a lot of other people, and unless you can make everybody think the same way, then you'll have to market to everybody else the same way. And in that market manipulation, you'll make mistakes, and it will always be like that until you come up with some sort of like food spray so none of us ever have to eat ever again. We just go and we're ready for and then I guess we're going to have to come up with some sort of cellular reinforcement of all of our bloodstream so we can survive in space. You know what I mean? Which would be kind of great. I don't know. I think I wasn't buying the guy's sales pitch in the beginning about post-humanism and sort of, but now I am. I think, yeah. Mr. Spock, what these people believe about the future is just garbage. They think everything's going to be robotic. I don't understand. Why can't we convince them, Spock, that humanity survives no matter where we are? There are many races that have entered into space, like the Borg, and they've changed to fit it. But I have to say that humans have not, Spock. They haven't. We're always going to be illogical. There, I said it. Now shut the fuck up. He required everyone, small and great and rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. Come here, Alex. I'll give you a mark on your fucking forehead. A little dabble, do you? What the fuck?
this belief.
Oh,
if
fuck
you
this guy.
you find rights.
Look, there is a great machine that is controlling the world that makes everyone shop at H&M and buy hipster glasses, and no one can escape it, especially the more you look like Barry Gibb, the better. That's what I feel. I woke up screaming that this morning, and somehow, by the time I got to the mirror, what the fuck? Oh, darling, please believe me, I'll never do you no harm. So believe me when I tell you, I'll never do you no harm. When you told me,
Even the fictional stories
you didn't need me anymore,
that humans have invented and spread around.
Yeah, it sounds like regular TEDx bullshit. Maybe if you wrap it up. Here's a good idea. Work with me on this. Perhaps update your theory to post-COVID, because no one ended up in, a bullshit dystopian medical nightmare place where we all have to scan our fucking chip to go buy a loaf of bread or some shit like that. And maybe if you did that, you'll get to be on the big TED stage instead of being stuck at TEDx like an asshole. I don't know. I had this feeling my whole life that I don't want to be on the real TED show. I just want to be on the TEDx, because it sounds pornier and a little bit like an energy drink, It's like an energy drink that gives you just enough energy to not do anything. Drink TEDx. It's almost like energy. It's enough energy to get you through a cocktail conversation, but not enough if you're asked any deep questions about it. TEDx. It doesn't fucking... I don't know how you open this thing with this. Does anyone have an old-fashioned, because some fucking hipster TEDxer got me, does anyone have one of those? I need one of those oil can plungers. Anybody?
Now, Aldous Huxley in Brave New World, and then in the nonfiction book Brave New World Revisited that came out decades later, where he breaks down the fact that, again, it was actually a future prediction of the world they were going to build.
Which didn't actually happen, but don't let that bother you.
He talks about the fact that
once you had a big studio and now you're having to do this from home.
Doesn't see the future mainly being a 1984 jackbooted thug system coming after you.
Well, that's a relief. Obviously. Can it be that way if that's our thing? You know what I mean? If we like wearing leather and that kind of stuff. I'm asking for a friend.
But it would be a nanny state.
Nanny state. Oh, really? So if I want something, they'll just go get me a bottle, and then if they'll let me, because it's not my real mom, they'll just let me get away with anything. That kind of nanny state. Is it a hot nanny? Is it like Pornhub nanny? Is that what we're talking? Because I could do Pornhub nanny state. I honestly could. I mean, it's not. I don't need to. That's all right.
That incrementally domesticated and enslaved people by
Yes, by babying
pulling them off the land and putting them in cubicles and putting them in tiny coffin apartments, and then
wait, they're going to help us move? Wait a second. All right, I wasn't about to go for this dystopian future, but if they're actually providing moving services, so when's the truck show up, honestly?
Taking control of human development and human reproduction, where it would all be,
well, I mean, those parts of it that can be controlled
done in a laboratory. And
well, I mean, look, I have as many odd fantasies as the next person. I've never really, like the lab thing, I'll tell you why. Too much glass on the counters. And so the whole, if you do that, you're just going to get cut. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like sex on the beach. It makes no sense to me. You're going to get sand in some really uncomfortable places.
And you'll see in Demolition.
Imagine a broken beaker. See what I'm going, Alex? Ew.
Man, that all of that is obviously there. We're only going to play.
Obviously. I mean, it's not here now, but it's obviously going to be here. Sooner than you think, but farther away than, long enough for me to make a living off of it for a very long time, die an old man, fat and wrong. And by the time I die, you're going to be like, that motherfucker. Like, it sucks to be you, coughing.
Some clips of it. So I suggest you go back and revisit it. I think it's a pretty entertaining action film.
The thing you were showing the clips of, that's an action film? I got to be honest, it looks like a shitty AI knockoff vlog channel on YouTube.
Extremely informative.
So that's all. I'm just saying, as action films go, that's a lot of stock footage.
But
that, by the way, doesn't convey the message that the person thinks it does.
Again, in this review, I'm going to go through it as quickly as I can.
Well, thanks. Yeah, wrap it up, because we saw the clips and we weren't impressed, so I can't imagine you talking about the clips will be any better. Also, jump to the part where he calls the Bible bullshit. That's your favorite part, right?
The whole thing starts with a
opening credits, titles. No, a big explosion, something scary.
Police officer that got too overzealous going after the bad guys, so he's been sentenced to cryo freeze and
wait, Demolition Man? This is a review of Demolition. I love Demolition Man. Where he wipes his ass with the fucking swear coupons until he learns how to use the 3 seashells. And they all sing the fucking Oscar Mayer Wiener theme. I love that movie. What's wrong with that? Oh, thank you, Mama Cat.
While you're in the frozen animation, they put a chip in your brain, a Neuralink, that
so Elon Musk is in on it. Good to know.
Programs you.
I knew I didn't trust that fucker. Thanks for reminding me, Alex. Yes. So thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. Just passing that along, clarifying. Elon Musk, dangerous, not to be trusted, probably part of the Illuminati. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
And prepares you for when you get released in the future.
Well, I mean, I think you don't have to be prepared to be released in the future. Just glad it happens. And if you're in cryo, you're not awake, so... It's weird. Can you punish someone if it's instant? I mean, if you arrest, I'm serious about this. So they cryo freeze you. One of the worst things about going to prison, I think, is the time you lose. Right? You go in young and you come out an old man, and if you're still the kind of murdering, rapey, psycho asshole you were when you went in, at the very least you're too brittle to try it again. You know what I mean? Like, you'd like to go on a strangling spree, but your hands you got arthritis and you can't really, all these girls are so much faster than you remember them. You know what I mean? But if you go in cryo, you're like, this 23-year-old murderer, I sentence you to 100 years in cryo. And you're like, you mean I can see 100 years in the future and you guys are going to let me out and I'll still be fucking age? What? Why would you cryo somebody? Why is it I would think you would cryo good people. You know, if you had a disease they couldn't cure or something, you just go, hey, we'll put you in cryo, we'll wake you up when it's all good. Why would you do that with prisoners? Fuck them. Right? Come on.
Dystopic society that is masquerading.
Dystopic? Dystopian. This topic, I think, is dumb. This topic is very stupid.
As a utopia, and I'll just skip to the end of the movie here.
Yeah, I prefer dis over utopia sometimes, just because it's punk rock.
Before we get into the predictive programming, and it's just classic.
Yeah, it's so good.
The guy that's taken over the world has done it through a manipulated stock market crash.
Just like George Soros, only not. Or Donald Trump, only not. Or Bill Gates, only not.
Decades before.
Well, obviously. And he's old, and he's like, fuck. Spent all my time making money on the stock market. I should have just cryo-froze myself. I'd be alive right now in fucking age.
And it's like a BlackRock type company. They've banned eating beef. Again, they've banned...
How do you consume it? We've banned eating it. You're still allowed to use it for its nutrient value. But how you get it into your body is now a lot more complicated. Sorry. They've banned beef. You can't eat beef anymore. It's all venison and elk and a lot of game meats and whatever and stuff. Joe Rogan is the evil stock market guy in this story.
And having sexual intercourse between each other. Everything is virtual reality. But he doesn't have enough
Well, if everything's virtual reality, can't you do just virtual sex and you wouldn't know the difference? Or
control. And there are a lot of people that live in these underground ghettos, and the globalists talk about in the future, those of us that don't want to live.
Is he really talking about Demolition Man? I thought he was talking about the fucking movie that we just saw, but I think he's actually talking about the actual movie Demolition Man, like an asshole.
In their compact 15-minute control grid prison cities, well, we can just live in some ghettos somewhere if we can feed ourselves. Well, basically, this is in the future.
Basically, it's in the future. It's basically in the future. It's like not really in the future. It's kind of like basically in the... It's like that weird future where they put it far enough away where it seems like a long time till you get there. And then you look up and you're like, oh shit, it's 2024 already. And isn't it funny how Demolition Man was set in 2018?
And the villain, who is, again, the utopian liberal.
And obviously played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
On the surface.
Just because they had to find... for DEI reasons, they had to find somebody who had every consonant in their name except Z, because we still hate the Russians no matter what.
He unfreezes a super criminal.
Yeah, he's Demolition Man. He's just telling us, Jesus Christ. We don't live in Demolition Man. We don't sing jingles. The vegetarianism isn't being enforced. Everybody in that town is happy until this asshole shows up and starts killing her. Nobody does need guns. The only reason this fucker gets out is like it works until he doesn't.
From the past, played by Wesley Snipes.
Ah, it is shit, man. What? Really? Look. It's bad enough when they go to 1984 all the time, but Jesus Christ, if you're okay, look, if you're going to talk about a dystopian future that's Demolition Man is far too good-natured and sort of silly. It's almost like an action comedy. Yeah, it doesn't work. You have to go. Although I will say that let's see, let me share the movie. That Wesley Snipes' character in it is a murderous rapist and a terrible, terrible person, which they just kind of like in this happy-go-lucky, silly movie, just don't give a shit about. If we're gonna go with a total dystopian movie, can I introduce you guys to another potential one? Just broaden for this idiot. Can we broaden your sci-fi and neo-futurism palette a little bit? May I? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the movie Nemesis, starring Olivier Gruner, the French kickboxing champion. It's wonderfully low budget and fucking awesome. It's such a piece of shit, but it asks all the right questions about humanity and electronics, and they kill his dog, spoiler alert, which you don't do. Yeah, he only made one. They were trying to like, oh, I have people like Jean-Claude Van Damme, and this guy's better looking and slightly younger. Let's just, he's got a French accent. Fuck it. Dead serious. Nemesis, I gotta say, one of my, I won't ruin it for you. It's relatively early. Nemesis, it's a low budget, like 91, I think, action thriller. And in the future, the LAPD is Interpol. 92. It was 1992. And I mean, you're going to be disappointed because you've grown up in the age of 4K, but it's a good fucking movie. It's good. Rob Schneider's not in that movie. Oh, he's in Demolition Man, right? Nemesis, yeah. Anyways, back to this dickhead.
So that
Alex, watch Nemesis and then shut the fuck up.
He can come into the future and check out his political.
I can come into the future. You want to see me? Everybody does, technically. Why do I get dragged into these stupid jokes because of this asshole? Why did I let that happen?
Enemies, and then of course the supervillain thinks that he will then be able, using the brain chip, to just deactivate the supervillain. But of course that.
But apparently in the future, brain chips don't work, and they don't. This asshole has never seen Escape from New York, where you put bomb chips next to the guy's jugular that he can't take out, and if he goes off the rails, you just kill him. That's spoiler alert. The entire plot of Demolition Man falls apart if the bad guy ever got to see a laser disc copy of Escape from New York. This is my impersonation of the years after Demolition Man, when kind of in the sequel, and they've imprisoned this guy, the villain. They've frozen him. He's in cryo. And in cryo, because you're awake, but you don't age, you're just frozen there, but your brain is awake, you're allowed to like binge watch movies and that kind of shit or whatever. And this is my impersonation of him seeing, like, flipping through movies until he finds Escape from New York. 10 minutes into Escape from New York. Fuck! That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you. And scene.
That doesn't go the way he thought it would. So it's got false flag attacks in it. It's got all the real stuff.
And by real stuff, he means bullshit that hasn't happened yet and won't.
That governments throughout really modern history have been obsessed with, but have also engaged in throughout history being recorded. And if you go...
Yeah, well, mainly, I think that one thing, the Oscar Mayer Wiener hot dog song is actually it's an earworm, I gotta say.
Back to the creation of the theoretical design of the internet when it was declassified in 1960. It was created by government psychologist, psychiatrist at Aarp Darpa.
Aarp Darpa. Come on. I think we got an audio drop. We're going to have to grab that one.
Theoretical design of the internet when it was declassified in 1960. It was created by government psychologist, psychiatrist at Aarp Darpa.
Aarp Darpa. Derpa Derpa. Durka Durka.
Where you would indeed have computer
Indeed.
terminals in public everywhere that would make sure your programming was going correctly.
Mm-hmm. Is that why you broadcast every day? Oh, shit.
And would surveil you, and then they could surveil all of us in live time with handheld computers. They just said as soon as they could make systems small enough to do it.
Yeah, that's like the one thing. Well, when will these assholes keep track of? That was when they were their last design before it totally collapsed was a PDA, personal digital assistant. Once they invented that, people were like, and it needs a pen, so you can write. If it did handwriting recognition, we could really do that. And then it should play music, because they like music a lot, and this will keep them. And if we give them this shit and we track them everywhere, they'll never be able to charge up the steps of the Capitol and take a shit in the dome. God damn it!
But which they did, they would then use all of that to have the central computer.
This is, by the way, I'd like to say for the record, for those of you following along at home, please hit the like and subscribe and patreon.com and all this stuff, because I'm the only person who's addressing these clips in their entirety. This dick, I didn't pull this clip. He put this up. He thought this is a good idea. He was like, this is a great example of what I do for a living. And I would like to say for the record...
AI system.
Shut the fuck up. I would like to say for the record that this is ass. That this is all ridiculous. This is a ridiculous man selling a ridiculous idea, and God bless him, he has figured out a way to monetize idiocy, and he's never missed a dessert in his life. So clearly, he's got something up on me, because I'm not I couldn't afford to be. I mean, I don't know that he could afford to be sued for $1 billion. Not again, anyways. But at one point, possibly.
Control us and turn us into automatons. So again, they addict us to these devices.
That's like saying They make us use heroin and just hold up your needle and your spoon. And there's nothing we can do about it. I love that they addict us with these devices. Oh, do they? So you've got one? So they've got you? So why am I listening to you? Maybe this is the message they want you to tell because you got it from your device. You watch shit on, I mean, besides apparently trans porn, which apparently has been on his phone on the air a couple times. I think he just searched, honest to God, I think he just searches for naked pictures of Blair White. But that's and all I've got to go on is his conversation with her, which, considering how much shit I've seen in my life actually creeped me out. And that's impressive. That takes work, Alex. Good for you. But if you're saying these devices control you and they manipulate your brain and they program you, and then you hold yours up that you obviously had right there and were using just seconds ago, then why the fuck am I supposed to, maybe you're this is your part of the bullshit story. You're the heel, you dumb motherfucker. Welcome to wrestling.
And then once we're totally programmed, and
what if we're only partially programmed? Is that the problem? I think that's probably what they realize. We get stuck. Most of us get stuck like with our update bar, just like 3/4 of the way, and then Illuminati's just sitting there, and all of us, we're not fully programmed, but we're giving them the spinning beach ball of death, and they're like, "Fuck, I gotta get my robe cleaned and get my mask out of." Which this fucker would get programmed? Shit.
And addicted to the devices.
You mean the thing that you can't have more than an arm's reach away from you that you just held up when you didn't even have to think about where it was? You just looked over, glanced, and there it was? You mean addicted to that kind of a device? What's that like? Shit, man. You know what's funny? Is I looked around for my phone, and it ain't here. It's in the other room. Because when I'm working, I don't have it here. I got shit to do. I'm doing my thing. Excuse me? Yeah, I know I left it in the other room. That's right. Because I only want to, because I don't take calls on the air. Right. No, I don't, it's not a thing. No, it's just, you know what? Explain it to me. I'll get it in a minute.
They're not just entertainment things anymore.
No. Especially, they're definitely not with that new attachment that has like suction and like the walls of it move. I mean, I've heard.
Now they are our watchmen. Now they are our controllers.
Yeah. So you are. Let me get this straight. This device you have in your hand is watching you and controlling you. Okay. Now I have one of those. It's in the other room. Now I feel like I'm letting it down.
Now they are our prison wardens, and we don't know how to live without them. If you look at
do we? We don't? We don't know how to live without them? How do I live without you? All right.
Gen Z people and millennials, they are
don't get me started.
Completely dependent on phones. Hell, I'm already completely dependent.
Yeah, we know. You're basically, you've got the maturity and the intellect of a 14-year-old boy unfortunately fell through ice on a pond and was dead for a couple of minutes, and they thought he'd be okay because they managed to get him out of there or whatever, but ever since then he's been a little off.
Incredibly useful. So they knew how to design.
Yeah, they're so, I hate these things, but I can't live without it, and that's how they get you.
These Trojan horses to make them very, very, very seductive.
That's fucking idiocy. That's, kids, I gotta say, that's pretty fucking amazing. Hold on, let me open up my chat room so I can talk to you guys. By the way, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. We went a little long, but not as long as I have been. I think that's it's very bold of Alex to admit he's got. I mean, that's the first step, right? Admit you have a problem. There he is. Good for you. You're the Hunter Biden of I don't know, fucking Farmville or whatever those, or one of those like swipe games on your phone. Congratulations, Alex. You're and the next step is I guess prying it out of your ass. So anyways, thanks for joining me today, by the way. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. If you like that, the kind of stuff I'm doing at all, I appreciate it. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. We've got a great show for you tomorrow. Philip will be with us, I think, for sure from Kiev tomorrow morning, and we'll be talking about Ukraine and lots doing there. Also, I will continue to annoyingly bring up Sudan because for all of our faux-aggressive friends who only give a shit about Arabs or black people when they die if there's a cop or a Jew on the other side of the gun, the rest of the time they're just like, man, fuck them. It's curious. Start to think at some point you actually don't care about the people. You just want you just hate the other group enough where you're like, just weird. Isn't that weird? It's weird. Does it strike you as weird? It strikes me as weird. I'm just saying. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else.